guys, how you doing today? I wanted to give you an update on my beautiful Philodendron Dark Lord. I've had her for almost a year now. I think it's been about 10 months or thereabout. I'll try to look it up and see if I have it. Anyways, I'll try to look it up on previous video to see when I first got this plant. But you can see she is all the way up to here now. She's got a newer growth up here, which can't really get a good picture of. She's very, very hard to get in the frame because she's so tall. I've tried her on the table, on the floor, finally put her on a chair, so it's working out a little bit better. There, I turned her and you can see she's got that new top growth. There's her newest top growth. Now this leaf, the leaf underneath of that is a little bit smaller. I had moved her out onto my back porch and had her in an east window, and she grew a much smaller leaf. You can see how much bigger these are. But what I did was, you can see right here, I air layered her. So today what I want to do is I want to take that off and check on her roots. I want to make the pot fuller. I want to put it down inside the other pot, or inside this pot, I mean. You can see right here comparing to my hand, and then this one is even a little bit bigger, but I love the color. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I want to take and check the spag and see if she has grown any new roots, so we can go ahead and cut and propagate her today, and then I'll give you some care tips on this plant. Can you guys see those little tiny roots poking out? So I am going to go ahead and give her a cut, and then we'll actually get her, go ahead and get that potted back down into the mother plant today. Cool. I love it. I am going to go ahead and cut this off. I'm going to cut that strip off. I'm going to leave this one. Well, actually, I am going to go ahead and cut this off too, because I'm going to cut it lower. I'm going to cut it right down by the next node. See how red the camera focus here? Trying to focus on too many other things. See how red this is when you cut it? Look at that. It's pretty awesome. Okay, I am going to set my plant up and then we'll get this potted up into the mother plant, and I'll tell you my care. Alright guys, there she is. I moved her over to my table. Now I'm going to put it in a close-up view, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the new roots. I'm going to show you how I am going to put this down into the mother plant. And then I'll tell you my care on this plant. I've had a couple people ask me about this plant to give them an update and do a little bit of a refresh on the care. Alright guys, I'm going to scoot her back just a little bit here. I think I'm going to go ahead and put her in right about right in here. So what I have done is, let me grab her. Take off a little bit of the spag. Now, I'm not going to take all the spag off, because what I have been doing with things that I've been air layering, you can see these beautiful roots in here. I love how the whole plant is just red. The roots, the stems, the petioles, the leaves, I mean everything is just red. Even this dark green is so green that it's red. I mean, this is just one gorgeous plant. And I love the leaf shape. But anyways, what I have been doing with plants that I have been air layering is I take a little bit of the spag off, like whatever just kind of pulls off easily. I don't give it a big huge tug or anything, just whatever I can get off easily. Because these roots are used to growing in spag. I mean, this is just my opinion. And this is what I've been doing with my air layered plants, and it works for me. But you can see all of the beautiful, beautiful roots in here. So what I've been doing is just digging a little hole for my air layered cuttings. Dig a little hole where I want it to go, which I think I'm going to have it go right about right here. So I just carefully dig it out with my hands, and then I put all the spag down in with it. That way, because it's used to growing in spag, so that way it'll continue to kind of grow with the spag around it, and then the roots will gradually go down into the soil. And I haven't had any issues with any kind of rotting or anything like that, so I'm going to continue doing my air rooted plants, planting that way. Plants planting. But you can see how much smaller the leaves are because I moved her. I didn't have her in bright enough light. So I did bring her back in the house, so now she's growing this new leaf. And already it may be a little bit bigger than this one. I don't know. But beans I cut it, but she does have a substantial root system. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to dig this out. I'm just going to dig a little area in here. I may have to put her over a little bit further. But I like to use, that's why I like to use my hands, because then I can feel the roots if I run into any, versus trying to use a spoon or, you know, something else. And then I can always add a little more soil in if I need to. But as long as, okay, I'm glad I didn't go over here, but let's see. Okay, let's see if this little hole I made is big enough. Because I want, the roots are sticking up and I want to push them down. I want to cut a little bit more. I almost forgot about that. I want to cut a little bit more of this off, and I'm going to cut it at an angle. And I'm just going to stick her down in here like this. And then I'm going to put the rest of this moss that I pulled off, I'm just going to lay it around. There we go. And then just push the soil back around. I want to give it clearance for that new growth to come out. I might even put like a little stake in it to hold it up. There. Now I'm just going to go ahead and water this in really good. There we go. She is all ready to continue growing. I can't wait until that grows out more. You want to make sure that you keep your Philodendron Dark Lord in the brightest possible lighting that you can get her. Especially, like when I first got this cutting, I believe I rooted her out in spag. It was either spag or perlite. I don't know. I can't remember if I started using perlite at that point yet to root things out. But keep it in bright light. These things like to be fed a lot. So you want to make sure that you're feeding her a lot. Every time I water, I feed all of my philodendrons. I use the fish emulsion, but I'm sure whatever you guys are using is, I'm sure, fine. Brightest light you can actually keep her in, because she does love a lot of bright light. And the brighter light you can get her into, the bigger your leaves are going to be. You can see that mine are bigger than my hand, and these will get bigger. I've seen people with these plants and the leaves are just massive. But you got to consider too, mine is only not even quite a year old, or it's about a year old. So it will get more mature and get bigger, obviously, as it matures. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Just if you keep her in lower light, the leaves are going to stay smaller. It's going to grow slower, and you have to feed them every single time that you water. I do that with all my philodendrons, my anthuriums, because those kind of plants love to eat. The anthuriums and philodendrons are hungry, hungry, hungry. And also another tip is I do not let my philodendrons dry out. I know a lot of people do, and they seem to do fine with that, but I do not. I let mine dry down about halfway or a little lower, and then I water it. I don't let my plants dry all the way out, because philodendrons just seem to grow a little bit better for me if I don't let them dry all the way out. And especially when you have them in higher light, like I keep, especially this one, you really can't let them dry out. So that could be the trick if some of you guys are having issues with your Dark Lords growing slowly or not rooting properly, or any other kind of philodendron that you may be having an issue with. Put her in higher light and give her more water and more food, and I think you'll see a big difference in your plant growth and your root growth, because if it's growing healthy roots, it's going to grow healthy leaves. So there shouldn't be an issue with your leaves if your roots are in good condition. But usually if your leaves are looking weird, it could be several things. You know, it could be poor root system, root rot. You could have it in too low of light or too high of light. Usually if it's too high light, you're going to have a lot of burning. You can see none of my leaves have burns on it. Now I keep mine in my south window. When I started growing it, it was about 2 or 3 feet from the south window. Right now she is under a MarsHydro Grow Light, or excuse me, it's a VASGOR Grow Light, and she has south and west window coverage. But I'm going to put her back in that corner, and because I have more room in there for this plant to grow in that corner. So I don't know, that's really all I can tell you about this plant. If you guys have any more questions, especially, you know, the person that I was talking to a few days ago, you know, if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to try to get a hold of me. I'll try to help you as best I can, but really those are my best tips: water, feed, and highlight, and your plant is going to do good. All you can do is move your plant around until you find that sweet spot that she likes. I have a couple more really dark plants like this, and they all stay in higher light. They have done much better for me. So, alright guys, I am going to talk to you later. My beautiful Dark Lord, I still can't believe every time I look at this plant, I still cannot believe that I have it. She is just gorgeous. And I look forward to seeing this other cutting that I put in here. I'll probably end up putting a little stake in beside her to kind of hold that leaf away from the stem right here, so it don't get caught up, so it uncurls nicely. But alright guys, I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you later. Bye!